Alright, this is a quick demonstration of the assignment asking you to bring in data from the internet and graph it inside of a Google spreadsheet. So first we'll go get some data here. This link takes us to a government website among many thousands, millions out there on the internet that lets you gather data. I'm going to zoom in to a particular area on the map here. Let's find out some water levels of the Mississippi. So I'll zoom in here. I'm going to graph some information on the river. Got the Nebraska River there. Let's go a little further east to the Mississippi River. Grab that map, move over. Zoom out a little bit here. Come into Iowa. There we got the Mississippi River. And let's just grab some data along the river here about near Big Goose Pond here. Click on that. Let's see what data we have available to us. Well, we've got some historical observations all the way up to this date. Well, let's see what we got here. We can set our parameters depending on what we've been asked to do. For dates, I'll go ahead and get maybe a year's worth of data. Depending on your requirements, you can choose different amounts of data. Set that date, choose a day on that calendar, and now I've got a begin and end date. I click go, and it'll now, oops, select the wrong kind of data. Make sure we get tab separated data. Graph data is useless to us inside of Google Spreadsheets. Now we get data, and oh, here we go. Now we've got some data in a file. This column here looks somewhat interesting. That is going to be our gauge height. We could even map it relative to precipitation. Doesn't look like they've got much precipitation measured. Well, let's map the gauge height. Here's the quickest way to do it. This data here, we're going to need to import into Google Sheets. So I'm going to do Control A to select it all, Control C to copy, and I'm going to start up Notepad. That's the easiest editor to use. I just have simple data, Control V to paste the data inside of Notepad, and then scroll back to the top, and let's get rid of a few extra lines at the top. This data here with the hashtags, those are comments. Some programs don't need the comments removed. It will automatically know to do that. But I haven't got that to work with Google Spreadsheets. What we're going to do is import this data. So we're saving it into using Notepad, we're saving it to a file, deleting, backspacing after selecting that text, and now saving it, Control S or file save, and I'm going to save it to my location where I'm going to remember. I'll call this river data. .csv to remind me what it is, but Google Docs doesn't care what the file name is. CSV reminds me it's a character separated variables. Alright, so that file is there, ready to be imported. Now I go to my Google Drive, and I'm in a folder, browse onto a folder where I want to save this data. Or I'm going to create the spreadsheet here, So I do New, Google Sheet. And this is going to be some, I'll call it river data graph. Give the sheet a name. I can always go back and rename that by just clicking on that upper left title. And suppose I want to bring in the data here. I want to bring in the data, but I'm going to graph it on this worksheet. I need the data to actually work with, so I'm going to do a File, Import, and I'm going to jump right over to the Upload a File. Select a file. Now I have to remember where I saved that to, remember. So there's the data I saved from before. Let's go into section 1 here. There's the data that I just saved just now. Double click on that. It's uploading it. Hasn't complained yet, but I may not have good data. I won't know until I insert the data. I don't want to start a whole new spreadsheet. I want to put a new sheet inside of my Google spreadsheet. Everything else I'm going to let Google detect what type of data is in each column. And if it thinks that there's numbers there, convert them to numbers. And let's see how it works. Click Import Data. It's filtering through that data. Should be creating a new worksheet. And now I see a new worksheet with that data in there. And I see the interesting information is over here in column E. Depending on the format of the data you imported, that may be in a different column. The daily data files that we were working with in class was located in column D. But in this one, it looks like the data is E1 all the way down to E, lots of data, 17,188. So remember those two numbers. 17,17188 is the last line of data on column E. And I want to graph all that data. So let's go back to our sheet 1. And we're going to insert a graph. Or a chart. They call them charts in Google Docs. And insert a chart. And I'm going to choose what kind of chart it is. I want it to be a smooth line chart. The data that I want to add is in this add series. Now I could have selected that data, or I could specify now the data I want to use. The name of the worksheet is River Data, so I type River Data, exclamation point, and I remember it's column E1 colon E17188. And it doesn't like that for some reason. Let's try River Data in single quotes. See if it likes that. Well, it doesn't like something. Something doesn't like about my data here. Let's take a look here. River Data E17188. I can select that, and I can go up and select the top. Control select, or Shift select, I mean. And let's try, now that I have it selected, I can also do that insert chart of that data. Now it works. I don't know why it didn't work when I just referenced the data. And I see the graph is there, E1 colon E17188. An interesting little spike right there. I don't know what that's about. So I have the graph. I want to actually see something on the x-axis that's meaningful. Well, if I go back and look at my data here, let's move this chart out of the way for a second here. Click and move that chart. I see that my date is in column C. So let's have that be our x-axis to make our chart more meaningful. So I can come back to edit the chart. And on the x-axis, have that be column C. Oops. Undo that. I don't know why I did that. Go back to my chart. Come on. Edit my chart. Edit chart. X-axis, column C1 colon C17188. Now we see on my chart it recognizes the dates, and if I hover over a part of the line over here, it will show me the date where it measured that particular level. And I can come down here, see that spike, and see that spike was on 8/14/2018. Must have had some heavy rains in just a few days to cause that strange spike, or there could be an error in the data. Now if I want to move this chart or copy it, I can select it, Control C, come to sheet 1, and get rid of that one, and paste the one that I have from the other sheet. I can move that around. I can put a little note here, data graphing exercise. and Google Worksheets. And I can edit that, edit the chart. Is there a title? I'd like to put a title there if I could. Oh, I don't see a place to put the title. I suppose I could just put a title in the column above. So what we did here, we imported data after saving it into a notepad file. In that particular source of data, it added some extra lines to the top of the file. So I was in Notepad, and I edited those top lines, deleted the extra garbage at the top, saved that file, then back in Google Spreadsheets, imported into a new worksheet after selecting the column of data that I wanted to graph. In that data back on sheet 1, if I look at the edited series, I'll see that it was getting the data from river data exclamation point E1 colon E17188. The x-axis data comes from that same worksheet, C1 C17188. So 17,188 lines of data quickly graphed using Google Spreadsheets. Excel will do this as well, but we want to learn how to do it in Google Spreadsheets as well. Once this is created, in order to submit it as an assignment, I can go either to share it or I can go under File, Publish to Web. It will produce a link to this entire document. And I say, yes, I do want to publish it. There's the link. I copy that. That link will be pasted in the submission. Just to see what that would look like if I view it as a web page, I can come over and paste that link. And this is what the spreadsheet data looks like viewed as a published worksheet, published as a web page. A lot of data there. Takes it a while to publish. There's the graph. And somewhere on this web sheet, oh, there, I can click and see the actual data. That's the part that takes a long time to display because 17,000 lines of data. And there you have it, how to import data into Google Spreadsheets.